guys, this is a strengthening flow, so as always, do what you can. If anything feels uncomfortable, feel free to knit it out and make any adjustments that you need to. And you can always take child's pose if things get a little bit difficult and you need to take a couple of breaths. So resting whenever you need to throughout the flow. And we're going to get stuck straight in, so coming into some core to begin with. So just bringing yourself to the middle of the mat, bringing the hands behind the backs of the thighs, and then coming up onto the heels of the feet. Walking the heels in towards the body until you find this point of balance and making your way into Navasana boat pose. So seeing if you can squeeze the inner thighs towards each other and the knees, and then maybe seeing if you can hover the hands away. And then from here, keeping the chest lifting, length through the spine, and we're just going to start to lower the right leg out, and then drawing back to center, taking the left leg long, drawing in, right leg straightens, drawing in, left leg straightens, drawing in. One more each side. And then from here, starting to lower into Ardha Navasana, so straightening out the legs, hovering the shoulders away from the mat, seeing if you can really work into your core. So drawing navel towards spine, pressing the whole of the back, apart from the shoulders, into the mat, and holding, squeezing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing, bringing the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a squeeze, rocking gently from side to side on the lower back. We'll do 2 more rounds when you're ready. So hands to the backs of the thighs, rocking yourself back up to your seat. Finding a point of balance, hovering the feet away, bringing the lower legs parallel with the mat, reaching the hands out in front. And then when you're ready, straightening out the right leg, drawing in. Left leg, drawing in. Right leg, drawing in. Left leg, drawing in. Right leg, left leg, and then lower. Back to your Ardha Navasana, engaging into the core. Navel towards spine, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing. And coming up for your final round when you're ready. So hands to the backs of the thighs, rocking yourself up to your seat. Finding your point of balance on the sitting bones, hovering the feet away, keeping that lift up through the crown of the head, engaging into the core when you feel stable, reaching the hands out, and then lowering the right leg, drawing in. Left leg lowers, drawing in, right leg lowers, drawing in, left leg, right leg, left leg, and lower. Holding and squeezing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing. Again, just rocking from side to side on the lower back. And then when you're ready, making your way to Happy Baby. So bending into the knees, flexing the feet up towards the ceiling. Hands can come to the ankles, big toes, or outside edges of the feet. And then we're seeing if we can draw the knees down either side of the hips, tucking the chin towards the chest, looking for length through the back of the neck. And seeing if you can press the lower bit back into the mat beneath you. And then just allowing the belly and the abdominal muscles to soften, letting go. Breathing here, maybe rocking gently from side to side. Two more breaths. And then bringing the hands to the outside edges of the knees, drawing the knees together, giving yourself a final squeeze. And then hands to the backs of the thighs, rocking yourself up to a seat, and then making your way straight over to tabletop position. So wrists underneath the shoulders, knees hip width distance apart. And we'll just start by warming up through the hands and the wrists. So keeping the fingertips pointing forwards and just starting to rock forwards and backwards, seeing if you can gauge all the way up into the shoulders. So really press into the hands, round through the shoulders, draw navel towards spine, and then start to see if you can pour the weight all the way into the fingertips, and then releasing back, wrapping the triceps back, biceps forward, so elbow creases are pointing forwards. And then coming back to stillness, spilling the hands around so the fingertips are pointing towards the knees, tucking the toes for this one, and then again rocking forwards and backwards, this time seeing if you can peel the palm away from the mat, coming all the way into the fingertips, being really mindful about how this feels for your body. If you've never done this before, it can be quite intense. So really listen to your own body, only go as deep as feels okay. And then spinning the hands back round. And from here we're going to take the hands as wide as the mat, fingertips pointing out to the sides of the room, and then just starting to make these little semicircles from one hand to the other. So from right hand bringing the weight forwards and then over to the left. Again, keeping this rounding through the shoulders. And then again coming back to your tabletop position and just starting to circle through the hips. So again, pouring the weight into the fingertips and then bringing the bum back towards the heels. Taking 5 circles to the right. And then 5 circles to the left. When you've done your circles, coming to sit back towards the heels, either toes tucked or untucked, and then just releasing through the wrists. So grabbing the right wrist with the first finger and thumb, soft fist through the hand, and then just circling through the wrist in both directions. And then taking it to the other side. And then shaking out the hands, making your way to tabletop position and then back to your first downward facing dog. So pressing into the toes, hovering the knees away from the mat, starting to reach the sitting bones high, lengthening through the backs of the legs and the backs of the feet. As always, when you come to your first downward facing dog, just pedaling out the feet, finding some movement that's going to allow you to become comfortable in this position. So making any adjustments that you need to, and then coming to some stillness and just setting yourself up in your downward facing dog. So making sure that the hands are shoulder width apart, feet hip width distance apart, pressing forwards and down into the hands, seeing if you can press more into the first finger and the thumb and the joint in between. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears, pressing the hands forwards and down into the mat, energetically working the chest back towards the tops of the thighs. Pressing the backs of the thighs away from you. And throughout this practice, if you want to fire up your downward facing dog a little, then you can start to bend into the elbows. So seeing when you do this, if you can stop the elbows from splaying out to the sides, so really seeing if you can draw them in towards each other. So you're starting to contain all of the energy in the chest, continuing to press forwards and down into the hands. And then straightening out the arms if the elbows are bent. Coming high onto the tiptoes, walking both feet to the top of the mat. When you arrive, take a nice deep bend into the knees, grab opposite elbows. Allow the head and the neck to hang heavy. Maybe see if you can start to pour more weight into the toes so that you can find more length down the backs of the legs. Tucking the chin towards the chest, allowing the crown of the head to fall towards the mat. And again, maybe just swaying it out here. If you want to, you can keep a bend into the knees to keep it more soft. And just releasing any tension from the neck and the shoulders. Shaking it out, making circles through the neck. Maybe taking a cleansing breath, inhaling into the belly. Exhaling through the mouth. When you're ready, releasing that grip on the elbows, starting to roll all the way up through the spine. Coming to stand at the top of the mat, and we're going to make our way through just a couple of rounds of Surya Namaskar A to warm up the whole of the body. So big toes touching, heels slightly apart, engaging all the way up through the body. So squeezing inner thighs towards each other, drawing navel towards spine, glutes on, tucking the tailbone, bringing the hands together at heart center, lifting up through the crown of the head. On the next inhale, reaching the hands up and over the head, gentle back bend, pressing the hips forwards, and then exhaling, folding forwards over the hips, bending into the knees if you need to. Inhaling to a halfway lift, reaching the crown of the head forwards, drawing the shoulders back, and then planting the hands, stepping both feet back to your high plank, shoulders over the wrists, tucking the tailbone, pressing into the hands, rounding through the shoulders, navel towards spine. Dropping the knees or lowering chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog. And then exhaling over the toes, downward facing dog. Again, in your downward facing dog, if you want to fire it up here, bending into the elbows, squeezing the elbows in towards each other. Straightening out the arms, looking forwards in between the thumbs, stepping both feet up to the top of the mat, inhaling to your halfway lift, exhaling, folding over the hips. Inhale, press into the feet, sweep the hands up and over the head, gaze up to the thumbs, gentle back bend, exhale the hands to the heart. Two more, inhale to lift, exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, reach the crown of the head forwards. When you're ready, plant the hands, step or jump back. If you're jumping back, it's straight to chaturanga, otherwise lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog, and then exhaling, downward facing dog. Again, taking a couple of breaths here if you want to bend into the elbows, squeezing them in towards each other. Straightening out the arms, looking forwards in between the thumbs, stepping or jumping to the top of the mat, inhaling to your halfway lift, exhaling, folding over the hips. Inhale, press into the feet, sweep the hands up and over the head, gaze up, exhale the hands to the heart. Last time, inhale to lift, exhale, folding forwards. Inhale, halfway lift, reach the crown of the head forwards, plant the hands, step both feet back, high plank, lowering through a nice straight line, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing dog, exhaling, downward facing dog. Bending into the elbows, maybe squeezing them in towards each other. Keep pressing the chest back towards the tops of the thighs. And then looking forwards in between the thumbs, stepping both feet up. Inhaling to your halfway lift, exhaling, folding over the hips. Inhale, press into the feet, sweep the hands up and over the head, gaze up to the thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale to lift, exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. This time as you exhale, plant the hands, step both feet back to your downward facing dog. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands back towards the feet. When you arrive at the back of your mat, heel toe the feet out so they're as wide as the mat, heels turn in, toes turn out, making your way down into Malasana squat. Bring the hands together at the heart. Elbows come to the inside of the knees, seeing if you can use the elbows to press the hips wider, drawing the thumb down towards heart center. On the next inhale, pressing into the feet, sweep the hands out wide, lift up. Gaze up to the thumbs, and then exhale, drop all the way back down into Malasana. From here, we're going to walk the hands out to high plank. So start to walk the hands away from you until you find the shoulders over the wrists. Then bring the feet in into your high plank. You can stay here working on your high plank, tucking the tailbone, pressing into the hands, rounding through the shoulders. If you want more, we're going to come into a one-armed plank. So pressing into the left hand, reaching the right hand out in front, see if you can level off the hips. And then release, coming onto the other side, pressing into the right hand, reaching the left hand out in front. Releasing onto the other side, right hand reaches out. Releasing last time to the left. And then as you exhale, sending it back to your downward facing dog. From here, we're going to come high onto the tiptoes and then turn the heels in and the toes out, staying on the toes, lifting the heels, and then start to press the hips back behind you. So we're creating this bobbing motion into the hips, deep bend into the knees. And then as we drop in and out of the hips, we start to walk the hands back towards the feet. So bobbing in and out of the hips all the way back until you arrive back in your Malasana squat. Lifting again when you're ready on the next inhale, pressing into the feet, sweeping the hands up, exhaling, dropping back to Malasana. Planting the hands, walking them out, finding your high plank, turning the toes in. Getting nice and strong in your high plank first, and then when you're ready, this time press into the right hand, reach the left arm out in front, and then release over to the right hand reaching out in front, releasing, other side, left hand reaches, and then right hand reaches. As you exhale, send it back, downward facing dog. Turn the toes out, heels in, and then come high onto the tiptoes. Bend into the knees, and then find that bobbing motion in and out of the hips. When you're ready, starting to walk the hands back. And then making your way back to Malasana. Hands to the heart. One more, inhale, press into the feet, lift up. Exhale to lower. Plant the hands, walk them out to your high plank. When you're ready, right hand reaches out in front and then lowers. Press into the right hand, reach the left hand out and then lower. Right hand reaches, left hand reaches, and then exhale back to your downward facing dog. Heels turn in, toes turn out. Come high onto the toes, bend into the knees. Find your bobbing motion and then start to walk the hands back. Back into Malasana, hands to heart center, pressing the hips out wide, using the knees. We're going to take 3 lift and lowers here, so inhaling, pressing into the feet, lifting up. Gazing up and then exhaling, dropping in. 2 more, inhale, press and lift. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. And then walk the hands out. Finding your downward facing dog. And then on the next inhale, waving forwards, finding your high plank. So shoulders over the wrist, again tucking the tailbone, finding strength in your plank, pressing into the hands, rounding through the shoulders. On the next inhale, picking the right foot up off the mat, and as you exhale, bending into the knee, drawing the knee towards the right elbow. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, right knee, right elbow. Inhale, take it back. Left knee, left elbow. Once more on each side, right knee, right elbow. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. And then exhale back to your downward facing dog. Take a cleansing breath if you need it, inhaling into the belly. Exhaling through the mouth. Finding some stillness in your downward facing dog. On the next inhale, picking up the right foot, sweeping it high, coming into your three-legged dog. See if you can square off the hips, so we're pointing those right toes towards the mat. Come high onto the tiptoes on the left foot. When you're ready, as you exhale, draw the right knee towards the nose. Maybe see if you can get it to tap. And then inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, sweep it back. One more, exhale, knee to nose, this time hold. And then step the right foot down to the mat. Root down through the feet, make sure you feel stable. As you inhale, lift up into your crescent lunge. Nice deep bend into that right knee, staying strong through the left leg. So from here, as you exhale, start to sweep the arms back behind you. And then we're going to power forwards into the right foot. So start to reach the crown of the head forwards, bring the weight forwards into that right foot, and then hover the left toes away. Finding Virabhadrasana 3, sweeping the arms out in front, and then micro bend into that right knee. Slowly start to lower the left tiptoes back down, inhaling back into your high lunge. As you exhale, sweep the hands back, reach the crown of the head forwards, fire forwards into that right foot, sweep the arms out in front, and then micro bend into the right knee, lower those left toes down, inhaling to your high lunge. One more, exhale, reach the hands back, reach the crown of the head forwards, pull the weight into that right foot, sweep the arms round, and then exhale to lower. As you inhale, straighten out that right leg, and then spin round into Prasarita. So the toes turn in, heels turn out. And then inhale the arms up. We're going to bring the hands into Kali Mudra, pistol grip. So pointing through the first fingers, reaching the arms up, and then we're going to come into these side crunches. So inhaling to lift, drop the shoulders away from the ears. And then as you exhale, start to reach the hands up and over the head to the right as you send the hips to the left. Keep squeezing everything into the midline, so really see if you can engage into the inner thighs, drawing them towards each other. So exhaling, dropping to the right for 10, 9, 8, 7, rooting down through the feet, 6, 5, keep lifting the chest, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking it to the other side, so inhaling, reaching up through the fingertips, squeeze the inner thighs towards each other, and then exhale to the left for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, engaging into your core, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing the hands to the hips, squeeze the elbows towards each other, inhale, puff up the chest. As you exhale, start to hinge forwards over the hips. So reaching the chest as far forwards as you can, and then when you can't go any further, starting to drop crown of the head towards the mat. Planting the hands, shoulder width apart. They can be in front of the face, or if you've got more space, walking the hands back so the fingers are in line with the toes. Seeing if you can squeeze the elbows towards each other, maybe pouring more weight into the front of the foot.
lowering the crown of the head towards the mat, tucking the chin towards the chest, maybe seeing if you can gaze back in between the legs towards the ceiling behind you. Inhaling to a halfway lift. When you're ready, start to walk the hands around towards the top of the mat. Spin both feet to point forwards. I'm going to switch my feet because I'm on the other side. So nice deep bend into that right knee. Keeping the left leg super active, so pressing into the toes on that left foot, reaching the chest forwards in front of you. From here, planting the left hand down on the inside edge of that right foot, sweeping the right hand high, coming into your twist. Again, strong into the legs, squeezing the inner thighs towards each other, gazing towards that right thumb. And then from here, we're going to make our way to Vashisthasana, side plank. So coming onto the knife edge of that left foot, and then start to walk this right foot over to the side. So there's two options here. If you want a supported version, you can keep that right foot where it is. If you want to come into full Vashisthasana, sweeping that right foot back, either keeping the feet stacked or staggering the feet so the right foot's out in front. Press into that left hand, really cinch through the left side of the waist, keep reaching that right hand high. If you want more, maybe separating the legs. And then we're going to bend into that right knee and step it over the top of the left leg. As you exhale, lowering that left hip down to the mat. So from here, we're going to lift and lower the hip from the mat. So as you inhale, start to press into that right foot. Sweep this right hand up and over the head, lift the hips. And then exhale to lower, hover that left hip away. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Having a little rest here if you'd like, or you can have a little play with coming into baby grasshopper. So keeping this right foot where it is, rooting down into the foot, into the mat, deep bend into the right knee, and then the right arm is sweeping in front of this right leg. So we're looking to grab the little toe side of the left foot. And then you just need to have a little play around with where you want to place this left hand. So we want to be able to press into the left hand, press into the right foot, so that we can lift the hips away from the mat. So finding where works for you with that left hand. And then we're reaching the chest forwards. Exhaling to lower, really nice. When you're ready, we're going to make our way back out. So pressing into that left hand, pressing into the right foot and the knife edge of the left foot. Inhaling, sweeping that right hand up and over the head. Making your way back to Vashisthasana. So up onto the tiptoes on that right foot. And then stepping the right foot back. From here, rolling over the toes. Coming to your high plank. And then exhaling. Sending it back to your downward facing dog. Deep breaths into the belly. Again, if you want to fire up your downward facing dog, bending into the elbows, squeeze the elbows in towards each other, press the chest back towards the tops of the thighs. And then straighten out the arms, bend into the knees, lower down onto the knees, and come to have a short rest. So you can either come into child's pose, bum towards the heels, hands reaching out in front, or you can just sit back onto the heels with the chest lifted. So if you find that the breath has become quite rugged and quick, mine has, seeing if you can start to slow it down. So maybe closing down the eyes and then just really tuning back into the breath,
coming back to a smooth, even breathing pattern. So seeing if you can match the length of the inhalation and the length of the exhalation. So the sooner that you can calm the breath, the more energy that we can start to conserve for the next round. And if we get used to using the breath in this way, it really doesn't take long in order to bring the breath back to this smooth, even breathing. Just a few moments of sitting with the eyes closed and really tuning in. So just taking 2 more breaths here. Gathering your energy. And when you're ready, opening the eyes. And we'll make our way back to our downward facing dog. So from your tabletop position, tucking the toes, hovering the knees away from the mat, start to reach the sitting bones high, lengthen through the backs of the legs. And then find yourself in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So on the next inhale, waving forwards to your high plank, bring the shoulders over the wrists, tucking the tailbone, navel towards spine. Nice and strong here. We're going to come back to our knee to elbow taps. So on the next inhale, hovering the left toes away from the mat. And then as you exhale, drawing that left knee towards the left elbow. Inhaling it back, releasing. Right knee, right elbow. Inhale it back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Right knee, right elbow. Once more to the other side, exhale. Knee to elbow, right knee, right elbow, and then exhale it back, downward facing dog. On the next inhale, picking up the left foot this time, sweeping it high, 3-legged dog. Come high onto the tiptoes on the right foot. When you're ready, rounding forwards, left knee to nose, get it to tap if you can, and then inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, sweep it back, 3-legged dog. Last time, left, and then stepping, left foot through, root down through the feet, shuffle myself back a little bit so I've got space, and then when you're ready, inhale the arms up to your high lunge, squaring off the hips, nice deep bend into that left knee. As you exhale, start to sweep the hands back behind you, reach the crown of the head forwards, and then propel the weight forwards into that left foot. Hovering the right toes away into your Virabhadrasana 3, sweep the arms out in front, and then micro bend into that left knee, slowly lower the right toes down, inhale back to your high lunge. Exhale, sweep the hands back, reach the crown of the head forwards, propel the weight forwards into that left foot. Find your balance, sweep the arms out, and then bend into the left knee, lower the right toes. Inhale into your crescent lunge. One more. Exhale, sweep the arms back, propel the weight forwards, reach the crown of the head forwards, level off the hips, sweep the arms out in front, and then slowly lower those right toes back down. Inhaling to your high lunge. And then when you're ready, start to straighten out that left leg. Spin the toes in and the heels out, back into Prasarita. This time we're going to fold forwards into Prasarita C. So bring the hands around the back to clasp. Bend into the elbows first. See if you can squeeze the palms together and then straighten out the arms. Make sure the toes are turning in and the heels are turning out. As you inhale, puff up the chest. And then exhale, start to hinge forwards over the hips. Reach the chest as far forwards as you can, and then begin to fold in. Tucking the chin towards the chest, reaching the crown of the head down towards the mat.
More length through the backs of the legs by bringing the weight forwards into the toes if it feels okay for you to do so. Inhaling to a halfway lift, reach the crown of the head forwards, release the hands, bring the fingertips to the mat in front of you, and then from here, spin the heels in and the toes out. So we're coming into goddess pose. You can have the feet at a little diagonal, or we're eventually working towards bringing the feet in line with the long edges of the mat. So toes point out to the little edges of the mat, so the back and the front. When you feel stable in your feet, start to lift the chest and take a nice deep bend into the knees. So coming into goddess, we bend into the elbows, cactus the arms. See if you can tuck the tailbone under, so we're really pressing the pelvis forwards. And then we're going to start to find a little bit of movement into the hips. So bobbing, lots of bobbing in this flow, up and down. And we're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking a little bend back into the knees, and then when you're ready, coming high onto the tiptoes on the right foot. And then lowering that the right foot back to the mat, coming up onto the tiptoes on the left foot, lowering the left heel down. If you want a challenge, lifting onto the toes on both feet, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Really nice. Release. Bring the hands to the hips, straighten out the legs, and then start to turn the heels out and the toes in, fold forwards, and then just begin to sway from side to side. So you might take a little bend into one knee as you come over, and then straighten out the other leg, just working into the hips, easing out. Really nice. When you're ready, start to crawl the hands towards the top of the mat. Spin both feet so they're pointing forwards. Coming into your runner's lunge, reaching the chest forwards. Keeping that right leg super strong, pressing into the toes, firing up all the muscles in that right leg. Deep bend into the left knee. And then from here, planting the right hand on the inside edge of that left foot. Sweeping the left hand high, coming into your twisted low lunge. And then squeezing the inner thighs towards each other, gazing up towards that left thumb. From here, we're going to make our way to Vashisthasana, side plank. So pressing into the right hand, rolling onto the knife edge of the right foot, and then start to heel toe that left foot to the side. So you can keep yourself in this position, modified side plank, or sweep that left foot back, stack the feet, reach that left hand high, or you can stagger the feet if you prefer, if it helps. Keep pressing into that right hand, tucking the tailbone, cinching through the right side of the waist. Then when you're ready, separate the legs, bend into the left knee, step that left foot over, and lower yourself down onto your right hip. Spin round. So again, we want to root down through that left foot, and we're going to lift and lower into the hip. So as you inhale, really press down into that left foot, press into the right hand, sweep the left hand up and over the head, lift the hips, and then exhale to lower. See if you can hover just away from the mat. Inhale, lift up, exhale to lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. 2 more. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Last time. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Have a little breather, or if you want to have another go at baby grasshopper on the other side, make sure you've got that left foot really rooting down into the mat. So you might need to shuffle yourself into position a little bit. Planting the right hand Start to reach the chest forwards so that you can sweep this left hand in front of the left leg, and then find the little toe side of that right foot. Press into the right hand, press into the left foot, and then start to reach the chest forwards. So this is where you need to really find the right position with that right hand that's going to allow you to do this. And then exhale to lower, really nice. Planting the right hand about a hand's distance away from the right hip, fingertips pointing towards the top of the mat or the back of the mat, wherever you are. Pressing into both feet as you inhale, sweeping that left hand up and over the head. Making your way back to side plank, so coming onto the toes on the left foot, and then just stepping it back. Staggering or stacking the feet, and then as you exhale, rolling back over to your high plank, and then sending it back to your downward facing dog. Really nice. Take a cleansing breath, inhale into the belly, exhale it out through the mouth. When you're ready from here, we're going to come into dolphin pose. So we are bending into the elbows and planting the forearms onto the mat. So you can stay here if this is enough for you. This can be quite strong if you're not used to it. So seeing if you can keep the forearms parallel, try not to let them splay out to the sides. So try not to let the elbows start to splay out. Maybe you can walk the feet in a little bit further. If you want more here, we're going to start to lift and lower the elbows away from the mat one by one. So pressing into the right hand, picking up the right forearm, pressing into the left hand, picking up the left forearm, and then lowering the left forearm back down, lowering the right forearm back down. Pressing into the left hand, picking up the left elbow, right hand, right elbow. Right forearm comes down, left forearm comes down. One more, right hand, pick up the right elbow, left hand, left elbow comes down, right elbow comes down, and then just finding some stillness for a couple of breaths in your dolphin. And then dropping to the knees, sending the bum back towards the heels. Coming into child's pose, walking the hands out in front, dropping the forehead to the mat. Deep breaths into the belly. Again, coming back to that smooth, even breathing pattern. So if you want to activate your child's pose, you can press forwards and down into the hands, finding more length through the sides of the body, pressing the bum further back towards the heels. Two more breaths here. Really using this time to slow down the breath. On the next inhale, press into the hands. Start to walk the hands back towards the knees. And then come to sit back onto the heels. So we're just going to finish by stretching out a little bit through the shoulders and the sides of the body. So if it's uncomfortable for you to sit onto the knees like this, then you can grab a block or a cushion. Maybe bring the block onto the lower legs and just sit onto it like this. You can do the same with a cushion. So we're going to come into Gomukhasana, cow face arms, just to find some space in the shoulders. So as you inhale, reaching the right hand high, turn the palm so it's facing back behind you, and then start to bend into the elbow. Crawl the fingertips down the back so that you're already getting a stretch through the front of this right arm. And then if you want more, you can bring the left hand
to the top of that right elbow. And then we're using that to encourage the right fingertips further down the back. You can stay like this if it's enough for you. If you want to get deeper, reaching the left hand out to the left side first, so we keep this openness through the left armpit. Then taking the left hand all the way over to the right side of the waist, then bringing the hand up. So we're keeping this space as we draw the hands towards each other. If you can find the bind, finding the bind, but don't worry too much about it. If you can't find the bind, then just pressing the hands into the back and you're still going to get that opening through the right shoulder. If you want more of a stretch here, you can bring a little bit of pressure into that right hand using the back of the head, maybe gazing up towards the ceiling. Just breathing here. And then exhaling to release. Slowly, slowly, shrugging out the shoulders, releasing any tension. And then when you're ready, inhaling the left hand up towards the ceiling, turning the palm so it's facing towards the wall, the back of the room. And then bending into that left elbow, bringing the right hand to the top of that left elbow, encouraging the fingertips further down the back. Finding some opening and a stretch in that left arm and shoulder. And then if you want more, reaching the right hand out to the right side, bend into the elbow, take the hand over to the left side of the waist, and then maybe bring the hands to bind, or just press the hands into the back, finding that stretch through the left arm. Gentle pressure with the back of the head into that left arm, maybe gazing up towards the ceiling. Closing down the eyes if you like, and tuning into the stretch. Noticing how it feels for your body. Exhaling to release. Shrugging out the shoulders again. And then just taking the left arm across the body, bending into your right elbow and just cradling the left arm with that right elbow. Finding a stretch across the upper arm. And then taking it to the other side, right arm across the body, cradling with the left elbow. And releasing. And we'll just finish with a side stretch through the body. So releasing the right fingertips to the right side, inhaling the left hand up. And then as you exhale, start to press the hips over to the left as you reach that left hand up and over the head. Finding a side stretch through the left side of the body, keeping the chest spiraling up towards the ceiling. So trying not to collapse in, keep opening out. And then coming back to center, releasing the left fingertips down to the left side, inhaling the right hand up. As you exhale, press the hips over to the right as you reach that right hand up and over the head to the left. Again, keep opening the chest up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. And then inhaling, coming back to center. Really nice, everyone, well done. When you're ready, we're going to make our way down onto our backs. So just making sure you're in the middle of your mat, bending into the knees, planting the feet, and then rolling yourself down onto your spine. Drawing the knees in towards the chest, grabbing around the shins, giving yourself a nice big squeeze. Rocking gently from side to side on the lower back. Or you might start to make some circles with the knees in one direction, or maybe finding a figure of 8 shape with the knees so that you can massage the whole of the spine out. And then coming back to some stillness, we'll finish with a spinal twist. So taking the arms out wide, taking an inhale into the belly.
And as you exhale, starting to drop both knees over to the right side. You can bring this right hand to the outside edge of the left knee or thigh to encourage the knees further down towards the floor. And the gaze can be towards the ceiling or maybe over that left shoulder if it's okay for your neck. Seeing if you can soften the left shoulder further down towards the floor. Each time you exhale, seeing if you can drop and release further. On the next inhale, bringing the knees back to center. And then as you exhale, taking them over to the left side. Again, using that left hand anywhere down the outside edge of the right knee or thigh to allow the knees to fall further towards the floor. Gaze towards the ceiling or over the right shoulder. And as you exhale, soften that right shoulder further down towards the mat. Inhale back to center. Give yourself a final squeeze. And then when you're ready, making your way to Shavasana, taking the legs long down the mat, feet as wide as the mat. Hands and arms away from the sides of the body. And we'll just take this last couple of moments to absorb the physical practice. So just noticing any residual energy in the body left over from the activity that you've just done. Maybe some tingling, pulsing or heat. Perhaps the breath is still quick and shallow. So really just seeing if you can start to let go of the physical practice. Allowing the body just to rest here now. Nothing else to do or achieve. Just finding one point in the body that you can feel the breath moving most noticeably. And using that point as an anchor for your attention. So just for this short amount of time, seeing if you can stay with the breath as best you can. Knowing that it's perfectly natural for the mind to wander away from you. And just seeing if you can recognize each time this happens. So each time the mind drifts into planning or time traveling into the past or the future, catching the thought and then kindly but firmly seeing if you can bring your attention back to the breath, letting that thought subside and drift away. And we just keep doing this over and over again. So just taking 2 more deep conscious breaths into the belly now. If you feel that you'd like to stay longer in your Shavasana, of course, choosing to do this if you wish. If you're ready to come out of the practice, bringing some small movements to the body, wiggling the fingers and the tips of the toes. Making circles through the wrists and the ankles. And then coming into a full body stretch, drawing the feet together, pointing through the toes, reaching the hands up and over the head, getting really long all the way through the body. Taking a nice deep inhale into the belly, holding the breath at the top.
And then exhaling, sighing everything out through the mouth. Bending into the knees, drawing them in towards the chest, grabbing around the shins. Maybe coming into a tight ball to seal your practice, forehead to knees. And then releasing the shoulders back to the mat, gently rolling to the right side of your body. And in your own time, making your way up to a comfortable seat. When you arrive in your seat, bring the hands together at heart center and just taking a moment to check in with yourself here. Noticing how you're feeling. And sending yourself some gratitude for making the time to practice today. When you're ready, rubbing the palms together, creating some heat in the hands. Placing the hands over the eyes, feeling the warmth. Gently blinking your eyes open and drawing the hands away. Thank you for joining me. Have a lovely rest of the day. Namaste.